Hi, my name's Claire Smathers, and I'm a PhD student at West Virginia University. And today I'm going to talk to you about how studying bacterial systems can actually help us understand how certain genetic diseases develop. So the first thing I wanted to ask you guys is if you've ever seen a show called The Office. So The Office is one of my favorite shows, and it actually is a very good analogy for the kind of work that my lab does. So in Dunder Mifflin, there is the corporate branch that kind of tells the lower regional branches what to do. So corporate, such as David Wallace, he will tell the regional managers, such as Michael Scott, what they want the company to do. So the kind of chain of command is corporate, then regional manager, Michael Scott, and then the workers in the office. So let's imagine that corporate wants the regional offices to do something such as make all blue paper from now on. So David Wallace calls up Michael Scott and tells him, hey, I want everyone to know that we're making blue paper from now on. But Michael Scott, has decided that he wants to take the day off and just lets everyone leave and doesn't tell them anything. And so they don't get the message and they just continue making paper as usual. And so because Michael Scott didn't do his job, the blue paper that corporate wanted to be produced was not produced, and therefore the product that they wanted to get, they didn't get. And this is actually kind of what happens in the diseases that my lab studies. So we study diseases such as retinitis pigmentosa and spinal muscular dystrophy. What those actually aren't so important as much as the actual problems that occur in the cell that cause the diseases to happen. So going back to our analogy, you can think of Michael Scott as being the cellular machinery that kind of converts the message that corporate wants the cell to know into information that the cell can use. So the genetic information is kind of like corporate, and it tells Michael Scott, or the RNA splicing machinery, what the cell needs to do. So they tell Michael Scott something, Michael Scott has to tell the office what to do. So whenever you have a defect in this RNA splicing machinery, kind of like Michael Scott not doing his job, you get the cell making products that are incorrect. And whenever the cell makes products that are incorrect, basically the cell can't function properly, and whenever the cell can't function properly, that's whenever you get these diseases such as retinitis pigmentosa developing. So how does bacteria play into this? So in eukaryotes, the RNA splicing complex is called the spliceosome, and it's a very large protein and RNA complex, and it performs this reaction called splicing. And because this spliceosome is so large and so complex, it's very, very difficult for us to study. And so what my job does is what my lab does is we attempt to understand this splicing reaction and how the spliceosome works by studying this same type of splicing reaction in bacteria. So by understanding how the splicing reaction occurs and what different parts of the spliceosome actually perform the splicing, we can kind of get some insight into how splicing can occur incorrectly or not occur at all. And thus we get, we kind of start to understand how maybe we can fix that problem, either keep the defect from happening or fix the defect. And this is extremely important for understanding how we can treat these certain diseases or actually cure them. So if we understand how the problem is occurring, then maybe that'll help us understand how we can fix it. So I hope that I've made you kind of realize how basic science such as understanding splicing can help us understand how to make better treatments and better cures for genetic diseases. I hope that you also have been kind of inspired to understand more about basic science and how it helps us as, a culture and as scientists as everyone, basically, and just been inspired to really support basic science. Some of the ways you can support basic science are by supporting different politicians who support basic science or science in general, and just getting involved in the community as far as educating people as to why basic science is important. If you have any questions about my research or basic science, you can email me at cms0060@mix.wvu.edu, and I'd be happy to answer any other questions at the end of the talk. Thank you.